Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. It's no surprise that baseball is full of surprises. Surprising game in New York, where out of the blue, an unlikely veteran catches the Pirates off guard, leaving Met fans flabbergasted. Surprising acclaim for California, as the Angels unexpectedly astonish almost everybody with an unforeseen dash in the unpredictable West. Surprising ride for Montreal, as the Expos burst upon the scene with a startling win streak to pose an unanticipated challenge in the East. Surprising story in San Francisco, where a stunning comeback on a baffling pitching staff has hitters in shock. And we've got revelations for one and all on This Week in Baseball. American League Review. In Seattle, the Angels wear a halo. After losing 7 of 8 on the road, Seattle came home in need of a lift, but California was too much to bear. Archangel Bobby Grich was devilish to the Mariners in Game 1, raising his heavenly batting average above 400 and blasting a game-winning homer. Mike Witt also made sure Mariner prayers went unanswered, tossing a 3-hit shutout to collect his first win of 85. California congratulations were in order for the next 2 games, as the Angels racked up 17 runs and won them both to take over first place in the West. Looking especially sharp was Brian Downing, who sank the Mariners with 5 RBIs and 6 hits, including a home run. Another Angel who posted some lofty numbers was Gary Pettis. The speedy center fielder rapped out 5 hits and scored 5 runs. The pesky Pettis also swiped home on a double steal to raise his streak to 9 straight steals. And shortstop Dick Schofield remained hot with a 6-game hitting streak. Another reason for California's 300-plus team batting average over 12 games. In Game 4, the Angels stayed on high with pitching as Tommy John won his first game since last August and dealt the Mariners loss number 8 in a row. Donnie Moore was equally tough in relief, earning save number 3 as California came on strong to win 11 out of 14 overall. So look out for the Angels. Next stop, Minnesota, where the Twins shifted into overdrive. It's been a seesaw ride for the Twins, who lost 9 straight games, but then began to sail, and they stayed aloft when Oakland came to town. Center fielder Kirby Puckett has been on a tear, and he ripped up the A's with 5 RBIs in the 4-game series. Rookie shortstop Greg Gagne added to Minnesota's run count with 4 RBIs on 4 hits, including 3 doubles, lifting his batting average above 320. Also sounding off with a strong return to form was Kent Hrbek, who broke out of an early April slump with an 8-game hitting streak. Hrbek had 3 RBIs against Oakland as the Twins scored 31 runs in the 4 games. Tom Brunansky applied his share of power with 2 home runs, 1 in the bottom of the 9th.
Long drive, left field, down the line. Collins in the corner. It's gone!
A game-winning blast for Bruno. In the last 2 games, the spotlight belonged to Mickey Hatcher, who went 5 for 5 one day and 4 for 5 the next. Hatcher tied a league record with 9 straight base hits in back-to-back 9-inning games, and he raised his average 80 points to near 330. Manager Billy Gardner also liked the looks of pitcher Mike Smithson, who went all the way in the finale for win number 3 as the Twins swept the series and went on to increase their winning streak to 10 games. On to Chicago, where the White Sox cleaned up on the Yankees. At Comiskey Park, the White Sox climbed above 500 with a 3-game wipeout of slumping New York. In the opener, Tom Seaver wasn't quite terrific, but he was good enough to chalk up career win number 290. He had plenty of help from teammate Harold Baines, who came up in the 6th with the Sox down 1-0. And there it goes, a 3-run homer for Baines. And that smash put the Sox ahead to stay. In Game 2, Chicago fans could barely watch as the Sox again trailed early, but nifty defense kept them close. How about this for defense for the capital D, as in double play? From glove hand to bare hand. But the Sox still trailed 3-1 in the bottom of the 9th when Scott Fletcher came up with 2 out and 2 on. Great Scott! Fletcher pulled the Sox within 1, and then here came that man Harold Baines again. An RBI double tied the score and sent the game into extra innings. The Yankees untied it in the 11th, but the Sox came right back in the bottom of the inning to tie it again. Carlton Fisk came up with a tantalizing offer. Bases loaded and a drawn-in infield. And that's all it took, as New York went down to a second straight Sox uprising. In the finale, Chicago was again looking for a comeback. Down 3-1, former Yankee Oscar Gamble came up in the 7th. Going, that ball is gone. A 2-run homer to tie the game. In the bottom of the 9th, any signs of a Yankee revival vanished when Ozzie Guillen walked with the bases loaded. And for the 3rd straight time, Chicago came from behind to beat New York. Now, let's open the notebook for This Week in Baseball's TWIB notes from around the American League. Yankee owner George Steinbrenner made his 12th managerial change in as many years when he fired Yogi Berra 16 games into the season. The Yankees were in last place at the time with a 6-10 record. The move made bigger headlines because Billy Martin was recalled to manage the team for the 4th time. It's also his 8th term as a big league skipper, having held the job at Minnesota, Detroit, Texas, and Oakland. Texas Ranger Buddy Bell reached a milestone when he connected for career hit number 2,000. Texas lost the game to Toronto, but the Rangers are mighty glad this bell tolls for them. Milwaukee's Pete Vukovich is on the comeback trail after a torn rotator cuff forced him to miss all of 84 and most of 83. The Brew Crew's former ace beat the White Sox for his first win since '82. The same year he won 18 games and the Cy Young Award. When Brewer Ted Simmons hit a grand slam homer in the bottom of the 9th, he not only beat Detroit, but also knocked the Tigers out of first place after 198 consecutive days on top. They went into first place opening day last season, never looked back. The 3rd team in big league history to stay in first from opening day to season's end. Now for this week's quiz, can you name the team that held first place the longest? Stay tuned for another murderous lineup. National League Westward Ho, a coastal clash in Los Angeles. Skies were Dodger blue and L.A. was on the upswing when the San Diego Padres paid a visit. The Dodgers needed a pick-me-up in Game 1, got it from Mike Marshall, who marshaled his forces and hammered his 4th homer as Los Angeles won it 6-3. Another Dodger providing punch, Bill Russell, went 2 for 4 to keep his average above 300. Has already played 3 positions this year, proving his veteran utility versatility.
During spring training, I prepared myself to be a utility role, and I have played a number of positions, but I didn't think I'd be playing this much, and the injury problems that we have, I'm happy to still be here on the team. It looked like that maybe for a while I wasn't going to come back to the Dodgers, but things are working out.
Oral Hershiser had his stuff working like a charm in Game 2, tossing a one-hitter for his second straight shutout and raising his scoreless streak to 22 innings. Hershiser's all set to help restore that old Dodger pride.
The last year, the season that we had was real frustrating for a proud organization as the Dodgers, and I think this year in '85 we're really going to want to turn that around, and this is a winning tradition, and enough of that fourth place stuff. We're going to go for the top.
Hirsch was in top form against San Diego, allowing just 2 base runners. Both times it was Tony Gwynn, and both times he was thrown out on the base paths. After 2 straight wins, Los Angeles took over first place in the West. But in Game 3, Dodger melodies went flat. Andy Hawkins kept L.A. out of tune for 6 innings and got the win to go 4-0. But things were all tied up in the 7th when pinch hitter supreme Kurt Bevacqua came up with 2 on. Bevacqua's double drove in 2 runs and put the Padres ahead to stay. In Game 4, everyone was keeping a close watch on Fernando Valenzuela, a tough-luck pitcher this year. He struck out 10 and raised his streak to 41 2/3 innings without allowing an earned run, a record for the start of the season. But despite his perfect ERA, Fernando was only 2-2 going into the game. With no score in the 9th, Tony Gwynn got the first earned run off Valenzuela this season with a home run. And that was all San Diego needed to win 1-0. Goose Gossage picked up his second straight save as the Padres split the series and left town neck and neck with the Dodgers at the top of the West. Moving on to Montreal, where the Expos were explosive. Montreal is in full bloom with soaring spirits as the Expos rode a 6-game winning streak at Olympic Stadium all the way to first place in the East, although the visit was brief. New Expos, like former White Sox Vance Law, have been instrumental in the team's sound play. And Hubie Brooks has also been a big factor after coming over from the Mets.
No matter where you play or no matter who you play for, you're going to always be a professional, and you have to handle it as such. And you have to realize, too, the reason that I was traded along with 3 other players was the fact that the Expos wanted to fill some holes they thought that they really couldn't fill with the players that they had in the minor leagues and the players they had in the past.
For Andre Dawson, the past was a subpar 84 season due to injury. But the Hawk is back. In 7 games, 5 homers, 11 RBIs, and a .500 average. Tim Wallach was also walloping the ball with a batting average above 300 and a 12-game hitting streak. To keep it up, the Expos know it'll take more than 2 to tango.
1 or 2 players aren't going to win this or are not going to lose this for the Expos. It's going to be 25 guys. It's a long season. I think it's a we-type situation. We have lost almost 55% of our one-run games in the last 2 years. So we've got to learn to execute, and we've got to learn how to really play to win the game.
For Montreal, that means improved pitching. And with starters like Bryn Smith, the Expos are looking up in that department. Smith had 3 wins and 3 decisions. Bill Gullickson also had 3 wins, as well as an ERA under 2. When it comes to relief, the call goes out to Jeff Reardon. With 6 saves and an ERA below 1, Reardon is helping the upstart Expos turn heads in the East. Now let's review this week in baseball's TWIB notes from around the National League. Vida Blue seems good as new since becoming a reliever with San Francisco. The former Cy Young winner missed all of '84, but in his first 4 appearances this year, he won 2 games and did not allow a run. Blue staffmates have also been impressive. Witness Mark Davis with 23 strikeouts in 15 innings. Then there's the 0.53 ERA of Mike Krukow. In all, the staff ERA was 2nd in the league, but a .210 team batting average has kept the Giants in last place. Atlanta's Rick Mahler beat Houston to become the first Major League pitcher to win 5 games this year. Then he won his next outing to go 6-0. Mailer's career high for wins in one season is 13. Against the Reds, teammate Dale Murphy tied Ron Say's Major League record of 29 RBIs in the month of April, and the next day, he boosted his Major League lead to 32. Cesar Cedeno of Cincinnati collected career hit number 2,000 in a loss to the Giants. Cedeno's batting better than .280 this year to help the surprising Reds challenge for first place in the West. The New York Yankees of the late 1920s were called Murderers Row, and with good reason. They set the big league record for consecutive days in first place with 317. Led by Babe Ruth, they went into first place on May 10, 1926, and stayed there all year. In 27, the Yankees went the entire season in first place. By the way, in 28, they won the pennant again, but they were not in first place on opening day. And feeling a little down? Well, laughter's the best cure, so stay serious, because we're about to get downright delirious.
I get delirious, never your need. Lose all you get lost in place. You look on my face. Come to making them fast, pretty mama. I just can't wait to rest, 'cause I get delirious. I get delirious, whatever you need. You gotta take control, 'cause I just can't see. Just too much to take. I can't stop, I ain't got no brakes. Girl, you gotta stay hold it right up and down. I'm delirious. You keep me delirious. Let me down.
A real laugher, all right. But hold it right there, fans. If you think that was entertaining, take a look at some outstanding efforts in the field that are bound to catch your fancy. First up, San Diego's Tim Flannery. Atlanta's Glenn Hubbard. San Francisco's Chili Davis. California's Juan Beniquez. Another Atlanta Brave, Albert Hall. Boston's Wade Boggs. New York Met catcher Gary Carter. Got it. Detroit Tiger Chris Patero. The Braves again with Bob Horner. Houston's Phil Garner. Bobby Meacham, New York Yankees. Another Astro, Craig Reynolds. Kansas City's Buddy Biancalana. The Padres' Gary Templeton. Tony Fernandez, Toronto. The Oakland A's, Dave Collins. And New York Met John Christensen, sensational. Now, let's go to New York for a grand and goofy game of Big League Madness. Welcome to Shea Stadium, or in this particular case, the Outer Limits, where Mets and Pirates dabbled in some bizarre baseball doings. It all started when Darryl Strawberry belted a grand slam home run in the very first inning. The fun continued when Pittsburgh tied it in the 6th, and it stayed tied for the next 11 innings. The Pirates tried to take the lead, but the Mets got in their way. So they tried a different approach. Oh, no way. Then still another. But no matter what they tried, it didn't work. So how about defensive strategy, like going with the old 7-man infield? Some Some fans might have doubted that plan, but how about this one? Moving outfielders back and forth for defense 11 times. Want more strange stuff? Well, 2 Pirate pitchers pinch hit. And after not playing the outfield for 2 years, Rusty Staub made a run-saving catch. The Pirates used 23 players, had 18 hits. The Mets used 20 players, had just 6 hits. But the craziness finally ended in the bottom of the 18th when an error gave the Mets a wild 5-4 win. Now it's time for an Old Spice salute. Brought to you by 24-hour strong Old Spice deodorant and antiperspirant. This week, Old Spice salutes Larry Parrish of the Texas Rangers. Parrish was a one-man wrecking crew in a win over New York, exploding for 3 homers and collecting 6 RBIs to spoil Billy Martin's first game as manager of the Yankees this season. It was the 4th time in his career that Parrish has pounded 3 homers in one game, 2 shy of the all-time Major League mark held by Johnny Mize. Congratulations, Larry. And that's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.